And Complete Communities is a very ambitious initiative. And for the first few years, it took us a great deal of time to convince the nonprofits, endowments, the corporate, the business community, exactly what it means. I will tell you, since the death of George Floyd, it has become clearer to individuals and companies and endowments what it means. And that is when people are saying defund police. What I've said to businesses and others, what I am hearing people saying is don't just invest in law enforcement to police and incarcerate people in these communities that have been underserved and where there is high poverty and people don't have access to affordable health care or decent housing or decent parks and green space, and their food deserts. What people are saying, invest in these communities that have been underserved. And if you want to talk about racial equity and social justice, it starts with investing in people in these communities that have been systematically overlooked for decades, way before I became mayor. And so what we are saying in Complete Communities, and what I said when I came into office, is that I want to focus on these communities that have been overlooked in terms of housing, just like we've been talking about with several of the questions that have come forward, in housing opportunities, parks and green space, not just a park with a name on it, but it's not a quality park, but decent parks and green space. There are too many areas in our community, food deserts. You can't tell people to eat healthy and they don't have healthy options. And so we need quality food stores in these communities, economic business job opportunities, quality neighborhood schools, good sound infrastructure. Those are where every community is a community of promise and inspiration and hope. Those are the things that I believe people are asking for. And so you're not going to turn it around overnight. People are just now coming to realize that when you invest in Complete Communities in the areas that I've talked about, you are directly addressing and racial equity and social injustice that exists. Because otherwise, the frustrations will mount, the poverty will increase, illegal dumping takes place in these communities, and people feel as though you have forgotten about us. You're treating us like secondhand citizens, and we're not going to take it anymore. So it is not nearly where I would like it to be, but we are moving in an intentional way to say to people, you need to invest in these communities. I am calling on financial institutions like Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, many of these other financial institutions to invest in these neighborhoods. Because when you look at these neighborhoods today, you're not going to hardly find those institutions in these neighborhoods. And if they do exist, they're on the periphery. But let me tell you what you will find in these neighborhoods. You will find these check cashing entities. Those are the financial institutions that are within these neighborhoods that will take a lot out of people's paychecks when they are cashing them, okay? Those are the financial institutions you will have. So when the banks leave, so will the stores, grocery stores, and other entities that are desperately needed in these communities. And if you want to build these communities up, especially the educational systems, then we have to create neighborhoods such that the people will return from Pearland, from Sugarland, from the woodlands, I call them the lands, and come back to the neighborhoods from which many of them were born and reared, but they have now migrated elsewhere.